For the last 4 years, members of the mainstream media, political pundits, Democrats, and so-called psychiatric experts have been running with the narrative that Donald Trump is mentally unfit and unsound to be president of the United States.
What we see increasingly is a president who is under pressure, out of his depth, ignorant, unprepared, and fundamentally unfit for the office. And this is apparent to everybody.
I think the man has very limited memory and very limited vocabulary. All of that can be seen as psychiatric.
There's such severe mental decline going on.
With the zigzagging of his brain from one topic to another, sometimes really utter nonsense.
Delusional and sick.
This is a man who obviously is not fit to hold the office, and we've known that for a very long time.
It is not normal for us to be talking about whether the president has a mental stability issue, and yet that's been going on now for quite a while, hasn't it?
No, it's not normal. All of this chatter is designed to undermine President Trump. Take, for example, this clip from MSNBC's Rachel Maddow.
The president, right now, in the midst of this crisis, is visibly struggling. There is something wrong, or he's just not doing okay. I don't know. But the president apparently just is not able to keep it together right now in his public appearances.
Maddow is referring to the following clip of a White House press briefing where Trump called on CBS's Weijia Zhang. Let's watch and break it down.
He said many times that the U.S. is doing far better than any other country when it comes to testing.
Yes.
Why does that matter?
This is a very dishonest question, and she knows it. At the beginning of the health crisis, President Trump and the administration was criticized over the lack of testing for a virus that didn't exist until a few months prior. Cut to a few months later, and the United States has conducted more tests for the virus than every other country in the world. So when Trump touts the number of tests conducted, this is an effort to quell that criticism. But Weijia Zhang attempted to turn a positive into a negative.
Why is this a global competition to you if everyday Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
This is not a legitimate question. This is grandstanding.
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer.
So Trump gave a response to Weijia's question, then called on CNN's Caitlin Collins. But Weijia decided, after a few seconds, that she had an opportunity to pretend that Trump was attacking her personally because she was born in China.
Yes, behind you, please.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm telling you, I'm not saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like that.
That's not a nasty question.
Please go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Someone's triggered, and it's not Trump, that's for sure. Now, since Caitlin Collins took so long to ask her question and let Weijia keep bickering, the president called on someone else. And instead of Collins getting mad at Weijia, she fought back against the president.
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead in the back, please.
I have two questions.
No, it's okay.
But
We'll
you
go
pointed
over
to
here.
me. I have two questions, Mr. President.
Next, please.
But you called on me.
I did, and you didn't respond, and now I'm calling on
Sorry, I just
the
wanted
young
to,
lady in the back, please.
I just wanted to let my colleague.
So instead of Caitlin Collins just taking the L, she thought that it was totally appropriate to argue with the President of the United States. And in turn, Trump decided to wash his hands of this nonsense and end it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So Trump thanked everyone and calmly walked off. But hang on. Remember how Rachel Maddow started off her segment saying that Trump was struggling and couldn't keep it together?
The president apparently just is not able to keep it together. The president right now is visibly struggling. There is something wrong, or he's just not doing okay. I don't know.
Then she showed the exact same exchange that I showed with Weijia and Collins, and when it finished, Maddow had this to say about the president.
What is wrong with the president today? It's clear that there's something wrong. And that's important whenever the president of the United States is visibly unwound.
If anyone was unwound in that whole exchange, it was Weijia Zhang. And I would like to point out that Trump had taken questions from reporters for 38 minutes and only ended it after a couple of harpies decided that they were going to bicker with the President of the United States. But like everything wrong in the world, it's Trump's fault. Another talking point is that Trump is not of sound mind and that he's going to start a war. Or worse.
A lot of people have commented on the fact, obviously, he's the leader of the free world. He has his finger, Dr. Lee, on the nuclear button. How dangerous is that? Did you see a sign of danger of such a man having control over the nuclear codes?
Yes, absolutely. That is our primary, most urgent concern, although not our only concern.
He has his finger on the nuclear button. If, in fact, the president is going to act impetuously because someone says or does something, that is reason for all of us to pause and say, is he really equipped to do the job?
Donald Trump has control of nuclear weapons. Listen, if we can't talk about this now and trying to be as careful as we can, I don't know when we can talk about it.
The night that he tweeted about his nuclear button, and then 12 minutes later said he was going to give out fake news awards, what can you call that other than madness?
You could call it a sense of humor, but yeah, let's go with madness, Brian. Anyway, let's take a look at the Trump nuclear button tweet in context. On New Year's Day 2018, North Korea's authoritarian leader Kim Jong-un said in a speech that his country had completed its nuclear weapons program and that those weapons could actually reach the continental United States. Kim also said that a nuclear button is always on the desk of my office. And that brings us to the president's tweet. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I too have a nuclear button, but it is a much bigger and more powerful one than his, and my button works. So Kim Jong-un boasted about having long-range missiles that could reach the US. Trump, on the other hand, pointed out that North Korea is more concerned about nuclear weapons than feeding its people and implied that North Korea's weapons program is garbage. Now, some people completely overreacted, or pretended to, and were like, oh my God, Trump is going to start a war. But when you put it in the context of Kim Jong-un's speech, it's actually just Trump talking trash. Another anti-Trump talking point is forcibly removing President Trump by way of the 25th Amendment, and one of its biggest proponents is MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell.
I started talking about the 25th Amendment 2 weeks into the Trump presidency when it had become painfully clear that by any previous behavioral standard applied to the presidency, Donald Trump was unfit to serve. The 25th Amendment allows for the removal of a president who is, quote, unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office.
So the vice president would decide that the president is unfit for office. Then he would seek out the majority of the president's cabinet to agree. And then eventually Congress, with 2/3 vote, would make the vice president the president. But all of this is pretty extreme. What could President Trump have done that would cause him to be removed from office? Lawrence O'Donnell has the answer.
On Sunday, a wordless tweet that presumably captured the president's frame of mind, his state of mind, about CNN.
Oh my God, the president reposted a meme. We need to invoke the 25th Amendment now. So as you can see, everyone is just so concerned about President Trump's mental fitness, but what about the mental fitness of his 2020 opponent, former Vice President Joe Biden?
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. You know, the rapidly rising I don't know.
Now, it's very clear that Joe Biden isn't as sharp as he used to be. And so, on June 30th, a reporter asked Joe Biden the following question.
Have you been tested for some degree of cognitive decline?
I've been tested and I'm constantly tested. Look, all I got to do is watch me and I can hardly wait
to compare my cognitive capability to the cognitive capability of the man I'm running against.
Yeah, neither can we. Anyway, back in July, Dr. Mark Siegel conducted an interview with President Trump, who spoke about being administered the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, specifically the memory portion of the assessment, where a doctor read 5 words to Trump and asked him to repeat those words.
Like a memory question, it's like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV. So they say, could you repeat that? So I said, yeah. So it's person, woman, man, camera, TV. Okay, that's very good.
10 to 15 minutes later, the doctor asked Trump if he could remember those 5 words and if he could repeat them.
Go back to that question and repeat them. Can you do it? And you go, person, woman, man, camera, TV. They say, that's amazing. How did you do that? I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
Trump reportedly scored a 30 out of 30. Comparatively, people without cognitive impairment score an average of 27 out of 30. Another part of the test is naming these 3 animals, and apparently, it's not as easy as it looks.
It's a Montreal Cognitive Assessment.
What were the animal shapes?
Well, it's a lion, a hippo, and a camel.
Isn't that a rhino in the middle?
A rhino.
You don't even know a hippo from a rhino.
Don Lemon, ladies and gentlemen. Now remember that Joe Biden not only said that he has been tested, but is constantly tested, whatever that means. So in an interview with CBS's Errol Barnett, Biden was asked to clarify.
Please clarify, specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test?
Probably because of moments like this.
Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. It's a joke. You didn't know where we were. Anyway.
A cognitive test? What a silly thing to ask.
Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say?
It's clear that there's something wrong.
This is a man who obviously is not fit to hold the office, and we've known that for a very long time.
Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
That's not an elephant, Joe.
Why the hell would I take a test?
But the question remains, why wouldn't Joe Biden go out of his way to take such an easy test? Well, the answer? Because ultimately, it doesn't matter. You see, everyone suspects that if Joe Biden is elected, his running mate Kamala Harris would be in fact the shadow president. So maybe we should demand that she take a cognitive test, I don't know. But then again, maybe we should just give Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt. Let's just hit the reset button and see how he handles things moving forward.
Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
And that's the problem, Joe. We already have. And that's it for now. Be sure to pick up a person, woman, man, camera, TV shirt in my Teespring store, or pick up an Asteroid 2020 t-shirt. Both are available for a limited time, so grab them while you can. And as always, thanks for watching, sharing, and hitting that like button. Be sure you're still subscribed to the channel, and as always, I hope to see you next time.